10 Most Scandalous and Shocking Facts About William M. E. Bulger. William M. Billy Bulger, a prominent figure in Massachusetts politics, has a life story interwoven with controversy and intrigue. From his early years in South Boston to his tenure as president of the Massachusetts State Senate, Bulger's journey is marked by a series of events that have captivated public attention. Here are 10 of the most scandalous and shocking facts about his life. Fact number 1. Humble beginnings and a large family. Born on February 2, 1934, in South Boston, William Michael Bulger was the third of 6 children born to James Joseph Bulger Sr. and Jane Veronica Jean McCarthy, Irish-American immigrants. The Bulger family lived modestly in a working-class neighborhood where James Sr., a laborer from Harbor Grace, Newfoundland, worked a series of low-paying jobs before becoming disabled due to an industrial accident. This forced Jean to take on additional responsibilities, raising the family under tight financial constraints. Despite their struggles, the Bulgers emphasized the importance of education and faith. William excelled academically, attending Boston College High School, where he developed a sharp intellect and a gift for rhetoric. He graduated from Boston College in 1955 and earned his law degree from Boston College Law School in 1961. While studying, he worked various jobs, including as a janitor, to support himself. In 1960, he married Mary Foley, with whom he had 9 children, including William Jr., who would later follow his father into law and politics. The Bulger household became known for its deep commitment to Catholic values and education, traits that shaped William's future political philosophy and public image. Number 2. The 75 State Street Scandal. In the late 1980s, William Bulger's political career faced scrutiny due to his alleged involvement in the 75 State Street real estate scandal. Developers were accused of securing approvals for the project through financial incentives tied to political influence. Though no formal charges were filed against Bulger, critics suggested he had leveraged his position for personal gain. This was a high-profile case at the time, as the development deal symbolized growing tensions between Boston's booming real estate market and political corruption. Bulger consistently denied the allegations, calling them baseless, but the controversy fueled public distrust in his leadership. Number 3. Ties to organized crime through his brother. William's relationship with his older brother, James Whitey Bulger Jr., is perhaps the most infamous element of his life. Whitey, born on September 3, 1929, took a darker path, becoming one of America's most notorious crime bosses. By the 1970s, Whitey controlled the Winter Hill Gang, a powerful criminal organization involved in drug trafficking, extortion, and murder in South Boston and beyond. Despite their starkly different careers, William and Whitey shared a close bond. In 1995, as Whitey fled a federal racketeering indictment, William admitted to speaking with his brother via an arranged call. This call, coordinated through a mutual acquaintance to avoid FBI surveillance, took place just 2 weeks after Whitey became a fugitive. When questioned by a grand jury in 2001, William famously defended his loyalty, saying, "I don't have an obligation to help everyone catch him." Whitey remained a fugitive for 16 years, landing on the FBI's 10 Most Wanted list. He was finally captured in June 2011 in Santa Monica, California, where he had been living under an alias with his longtime girlfriend, Catherine Gregg. The revelations about Whitey's crimes and his status as an FBI informant who manipulated federal agents shocked the nation. William's loyalty to Whitey led to significant backlash. Critics accused him of turning a blind eye to his brother's criminal activities, with some speculating that William may have indirectly benefited from Whitey's influence. William consistently denied any involvement in or knowledge of his brother's crimes, but the association haunted his political and public life. Number 4. Congressional testimony and immunity. In June 2003, Bulger testified before the U.S. House Committee on Government Reform about his knowledge of Whitey's whereabouts. Granted immunity from prosecution for obstruction of justice, William admitted to taking Whitey's call in 1995 at a private location, avoiding electronic surveillance. His statement, "I see no inconsistency in protecting my brother and fulfilling my public duties," was met with skepticism. Critics accused him of using political influence to avoid implicating himself further. A committee report concluded that Bulger's testimony was riddled with contradictions, particularly concerning FBI contacts during the search for Whitey, further tarnishing his reputation. Number 5. Forced resignation from the University of Massachusetts. Following his congressional testimony, Bulger faced mounting pressure to resign as president of the University of Massachusetts. Governor Mitt Romney led the charge, arguing that Bulger's ties to his fugitive brother and the ongoing scandals threatened the university's reputation. Despite defending his record, Bulger announced his resignation in August 2003, ending his tenure that began in 1996. His exit marked a sharp fall from grace for a figure who had once been a celebrated academic and politician. Number 6. Allegations of corruption in the Massachusetts State Senate. As Senate President, William Bulger was both celebrated and criticized for his leadership style. Holding the position from 1978 to 1996, he wielded unparalleled power, using his influence to shape policy and appointments. However, his tenure was marred by accusations of cronyism, with critics alleging that he rewarded loyalists and punished detractors. Bulger's reputation as a political operator earned him admiration for his effectiveness but also fueled allegations of corruption. While no formal charges were ever filed, many believe that Bulger's legislative maneuvers blurred the lines between public service and personal gain. Number 7. The While the Music Lasts Memoir. In 1996, Bulger published his memoir, While the Music Lasts, My Life in Politics, chronicling his journey through Massachusetts politics. The book was praised for its wit and insight into state governance but was criticized for omitting any meaningful discussion of Whitey's criminal activities. The memoir appeared as a strategic move to reshape his public image amid escalating controversies. The Boston Globe called it an artful narrative but frustratingly selective in its omissions, reflecting the mixed reception it received. Number 8. Connection to FBI corruption scandal. The relationship between Whitey Bulger and FBI agents like John Connolly and John Morris revealed deep corruption within federal law enforcement. Whitey, acting as an FBI informant, provided intelligence on rival gangs while agents shielded him from prosecution. This arrangement allowed Whitey to commit heinous crimes with impunity for decades. Although William Bulger was not implicated in these dealings, his brother's protection by law enforcement brought unwelcome scrutiny to the Bulger family, amplifying the public's suspicions of William's own potential complicity. Number 9. Legal battles following Whitey's death. On October 30, 2018, Whitey Bulger was brutally murdered in his prison cell at USP Hazleton just hours after being transferred there. His death, described as an act of inmate retaliation, raised questions about the Federal Bureau of Prisons' handling of his transfer. William Bulger and his family filed a $200 million lawsuit against the Bureau, alleging gross negligence in failing to protect Whitey. The legal battle underscored the family's continued prominence in public controversies. Critics argued that the lawsuit was an attempt to deflect attention from Whitey's crimes, while supporters framed it as a legitimate grievance over federal misconduct. Number 10. Legacy and public perception. William Bulger died on September 22, 2023, at the age of 89, marking the end of a complex and controversial life. While he was celebrated for his achievements in expanding education and shaping Massachusetts politics, his unwavering loyalty to Whitey cast a long shadow over his legacy. The Bulger brothers' stories remain intertwined, representing two starkly different paths from the same modest beginnings. William's death closed a chapter in Boston's turbulent history, leaving behind questions about power, loyalty, and morality that continue to provoke debate.